Big life, big stage, Big Ten. Welcome to Big Ten Media Days. I'm Stephen Means, that's Stefan Krajisnik, and that is Andrew Gillis. We talk with Ryan Day, Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs, and Sonny Styles on the first day of Big Ten Media Days. Let's start with the quarterback situation. Stefan, do we have a starting quarterback?
No, Ryan Day did not name a starting quarterback in Las Vegas. So if you were betting on that, you will not be going to collect your winnings. It was essentially what we heard from Ryan Day in the spring. He was asked about how he labeled it as a neck-and-neck competition in the spring. Has anything changed since then? And I thought his answer was probably pretty honest in the sense of, like, nothing was going to change over the summer. So if you think that Julian Sayin is this team's quarterback and you thought that in the spring, then you're probably still right. If you think Lincoln Keenels is this team's quarterback and you thought that in the spring, well, there's no reason for your opinion to change, even if maybe that's not the right opinion. But, like, there's a variety of reasons for why Ryan Day is deciding that, he's not comfortable naming a starter yet. I think he wants this competition to roll into fall camp. So where we were in the spring is where we are still today. And now it's a matter of how soon into fall camp is a decision at least going to be announced. Maybe it's already been made, but how long until it gets announced is really the only lingering question left.
So what's the plan? Fall camp starts next Thursday. Andrew, how is Ryan Day planning to approach this quarterback position heading into things?
I think this is going to be a little similar to what we saw in 2023 with Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. Maybe that's easier for me to say because that was my first year on the beat, and it kind of felt like last year we had a pretty good idea that Will Howard was going to be the starting quarterback. I mean that was why he was here. So I think it's going to be one of those things where, we're doing this July 22nd in Vegas. I bet you we show up in Columbus in a week when they start fall camp, and it's going to be, wow, both guys are really pushing hard. And then a week or so, maybe 10 days later, Julian started to separate himself a little bit. And then a week later, I think that's going to be the key phrase, starting to separate himself. And then I would bet you a week later, you go to Julian Sand. Because the interesting thing about this year is that while we all understand that the Texas game is not live or die like it was in 05-06, like, oh man, if you lose this game, your national championship hopes are in danger. While that's not the case, it is a very important game, and it is a big game for Ohio State in that regard, and you do not want to have that lingering, I don't think. So I think we're going to be in for 2023 where it's, hey, they're both great, hey, Julian's pushing, hey, it's Julian, and you're going to have about 2 weeks left. That would probably be my ballpark. August 30th Saturday, over under August 15th feels like a reasonable time for Ryan Day to name his starting quarterback, at least in my eyes. If we're in Vegas, we're going to lean into it. We're going to do over-unders. We're going to do betting odds.
We're going to live a big life on the big stage in the Big Ten.
Julian Sayin at this point is probably like minus 300 to be the starting quarterback. I think everybody thinks he's going to be the starter, and I think mid-August is how this is going to play out.
See, and
He's like plus like 1,000 to win the Heisman, so he's probably more than minus 300 to be the starting quarterback.
I think he might name him a little bit earlier than that. He's waiting on Julian to do something, a certain thing, and that's for Lincoln too. But it's not a skill thing. He's waiting on a certain thing to happen where he looks around the locker room and everybody goes, "Yeah, that's our starting quarterback." That's what he's waiting on, and you can't do that in spring practice, which he explained. But can that happen in the first week of practice for fall camp? Because again, this is the first time since 2022 where they're playing a marquee opponent to start the season off. They're not playing like they did in 2023. They played Indiana, who wasn't the Indiana of 2024 yet, even if that was a Big Ten game. They aren't playing Akron week one. They're not playing Florida Atlantic. We're not playing Nebraska week one. You're not playing even Minnesota on the road on a Thursday night in week one. You're playing Texas, who might be the number one team in the country, right? Or the number 2 team or number 3 team in the country.
That Notre Dame was in 2022.
But even that was a top 5 matchup still on the road. But that was a top 5 matchup with a coach playing a new quarterback. But the point of the matter is it's a top 5 game where you have to be on it. You have to be on point, which is why Ryan Day's talking about. He's going to put him under a lot of pressure to start this off, which means I think he might speed up the process. But I also think part of the reason he might speed up the process is because one of these guys might use fall camp to really pull ahead because he's starting to do the thing that Ryan Day was looking for during summer workouts. Get the text 614-350-3315. We're going to continue to have this conversation on Buckeye Talk, so go listen to that wherever you find podcasts. That's Stefan. That's Andrew. I'm Steven. We're living a big life on the big stage in the Big Ten. See you in Columbus.